Hello everyone, my name is Alexandre Gillioen. I'm a lawyer and I've been practicing law in Lyon for over the last 10 years. We've handled at least 1,000 cases over these last 10 years, helping people who want to come here in France and live here and work here. So that's what we do. In this first video clip, I would like to address the three main misconceptions I've seen, heard of over the last decade. These are questions that I encountered at least once a day, I think, because basically every day we see people here or, through video calls. So I hear this a lot of the time. I like to address these three misconceptions because I think overall they make people lose a lot of time, money, resources that could be used to other goals. So here we go. Don't hesitate to follow this channel if you want more information regarding immigration law in France. You can also ask us questions in the comment sections below the video. So the first misconception, and this one is like one I hear every day. So people believe that if they are blocked, I'm going to give you an example of this, and they do something about it, going to court because the administration is generally doing nothing. They believe in such a case the administration is going to retaliate against the person. So let's give you an example. I have applied to get my residence permit and nothing happens. So I've done this online through the ANF website. If some of you have used it before, you know it does not work very well. So I've done my application as I should through 4 months before the expiration date of my residence permit. And so now we are 6 months after the expiration date of my residence permit. I've heard nothing from the administration, and then I don't know what to do because maybe there is something that's not going well with my application, or I'm kind of lost. I cannot send like a question. I mean, if you do, they will reply that it's still being processed, but you don't know at which stage it is. And so you have already lost 6 months. You don't have a residence permit. If you are lucky, you have got the attestation de prolongation d'instruction, which is a temporary document that allows you to remain in the country during the processing of your application. And if you are not, of course, you only have your residence permit that has expired. Most people will wait and wait and wait for many months before doing something about it. And that's usually when I see people after, let's say, 1 year. They have applied a year ago, and in the beginning they thought, well, maybe it's just a normal delay, and it's going to eventually to come through. After a year of waiting, they start to wonder, should they do something about it? And that's when I see them, and that's when they ask me this question, is because the only issue with this kind of situation is that you can only go to court. You can send as many mails, send letters to the prefecture, they never reply. So if you want things to go ahead, you have to go through court. And most people, they say to me, well, if I go through court, will they deny my application? And this is this is the biggest misconception I've heard. Because first of all, let's say it's possible. Then if you apply, you go to court, and then they deny your applications only because you have gone through court, because they are not doing their work properly in the first place. That would mean that, let's say, the prefecture would be reasoning like you and me, like a normal person. However, it's not a person, it's an administration. So there are many people that will go over an application. You don't know about this, but let's say you send your application, one agent opens it, and then that agent leave this office. Another agent come in, he take over, and then after a while, he leaves also. And so over a year, you may have like 4, 5, 6 different agents that will look over one application. Time being, the person is still waiting to get his residence permit. And so if you believe that because you go to court, they will deny the residence permit, you don't understand how the administration is really working, because also you don't have the same people that are treating the applications, the one who are handling the case when you go to trial. So when we go to trial against a decision from the administration in a case where you have waited for like a year, the trial involves the part of the prefecture whose job is to go to court. These are not the same people that will handle your application. So just because of that, you can be sure that there will never be a tie between the office going through court for the prefecture and the office that will handle handle the applications. The other thing that's really important about this misconception is that France is a country governed by the rule of law, and in a country governed by the rule of law, the state cannot take away someone's rights because they are going to court. I mean, maybe in some countries where you don't have democracy, where the court are, let's say, not ruling over the case based only on the law, that could happen. But here in France, the judges will do their job, and it's part of the rule of law that anyone who feels that his rights or rights have been violated by an administration has the right to go in front of court, and that's the court's job to rule over it, and that's your right to go to court. And that's something you must never forget. In a country governed by the rule of law, everyone is entitled to go to court, and in my experience, many people don't do it. They wait way too much because they're afraid that if they do so, then the administration is going to revoke their residence permit. And as I said, that would be deeply illegal in a country governed by the rule of law, where you cannot take away someone's rights because he goes before a court. Last thing regarding this misconception is that to take away someone's right to live in the country, so his residence permit or a residence permit, it doesn't work like this. There are rules and laws that protect people's rights. The administration cannot take away someone's residence permit just like this. They have to notice you that they are going to take away your residence permit, and you have the right to tell them, well, I don't agree. I have a right to live in the country. Here is why. I have a job. I have family. And so most of the time, people believe that just like this, the administration can take away the residence permit, and that's of course not true. They have to notice you in advance. There is a process that takes at least 6 months where, let's say, the administration wants to take a residence permit. You say, okay, I had a job. No, I have lost my job, but maybe I'm married to a French citizen, so maybe you can take away my residence permit because I don't have a job anymore. However, maybe you need to give me one because I'm married to a French citizen. And so then the administration cannot take away your residence permit because you have another right to live in the country. So to put it in a nutshell, it's absolutely untrue that the administration will do anything against someone who goes to a court to defend their right to live in the country, especially when the administration does not do anything about it. So my advice in such a situation is for you not to wait. Just know that after 4 months, they have to take a decision, and if they don't, you have the right to go to court, and nothing wrong will come out of it for your residence permit. The second misconception I hear a lot about, and I see a lot, is people who come to me and they say, I've seen online or I know someone who is in the same situation as I am. Also here, that's not true. Why? Well, first thing is to be in the same situation for you and your friend will mean that both applications are handled by the same person. As I said earlier, you have like 5 or 6 different agents that are going to go over one application. So what are the chances that 2 people will have their case handled by the same agent? That's practically impossible because, let's say it quite frankly, you don't have the same agent in every prefecture. Like there is one prefecture for each department, and in each prefecture you have different agents and different persons. And even the same person will treat differently two cases which are the same. Let's say in the morning, he didn't sleep well, and so the coffee machine was not working, and he's a bit pissed off about it. And then the first case he's going to handle, he's going to be very tough about it. And then in the afternoon, he had a good lunch with his friends, is well spirited. And then another case, same case, but this time he's going to say, well, okay, this one we're going to give him his residence permit. We're not going to ask for any other documents, and that's good enough for me. And so you have 2 similar persons, the same cases, but due to the state of mind of the agent, they will be treated differently. And that's the first thing you need to understand, is that you must never compare your application to someone else's application simply due to the fact that they are treated by different person at different time, and even the same person will not always treat an application the same way. Also, you need to understand that each agent and each prefecture, depending on who is in charge, can choose to be more strict or less strict. mandatory in every application and for every applicant. So let's take an example. If you are to apply in the Préfecture de l'Ain, close to Lyon, or if you are going to apply in the Préfecture du Rhône, here in Lyon, you may not have the same vision regarding immigration in these two different prefectures, and that's perfectly legal. And so if you know someone who has been in another prefecture and his application has gone through, I don't know, in 2 months, and then you come to me and you say, I have the same case as that person, but my application is still pending 4 or 6 or 7 months after I've done it. Why? Why my friend, or well, I've read that someone online, that his application has taken only 2 months. Well, just because in some prefecture you have more manpower, less manpower, some are, let's say, more open regarding immigration, other aren't. And so that's why you cannot compare two cases, even if it's the same situation, because they're not going to be handled in the same prefecture. So that's why you must not say, well, I can understand my situation because I've read that someone else's situation, which I believe is the same as mine, and so that's how it's going to be for me. No, that's not true. As I said, depending on where you are not going to have the same leeway for the administration to appreciate your application. Last thing regarding this misconception is it's only based through purely empirical appreciation of the situation. Let's explain this. Most people, they are not lawyers, they don't know much about immigration law, and they do what they are told, okay? But they don't know why. It's just the website, ANF website, the prefecture, they ask them, well, give us this, give that document, but most of the time, you don't know which is the rules that has to be applied. You don't know how that rule is appreciated either by the administration or by the courts. And so it's very dangerous to assume things regarding this field only through this vision, only through the vision of someone who can look from the outside where they ask you documents and believe that only based on that vision you understand all the rights or your rights work, because that's not the case. Last misconception, and this one is also one I heard a lot, is my residence permit is going to expire or has expired and I'm going to be deported. Well, that's of course not how it works, because do you think that in every prefecture there is an alarm that goes on each time someone residence permit or long stay visa expires? Of course it's not like that. Most of the time your residence permit will or your long stay visa will expire and nothing will happen about it, because basically no one follows how it works. They know that someone has been there with a residence permit or long stay visa, it's written somewhere, and that's pretty much it. No one is going to look at it, no one is going to call you and asking you, why are you still there? Your residence permit expired 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. No, basically you will remain in the country, no one will ask you anything about it, unless of course, let's say you want to work, well then the company will ask to see a residence permit and that needs to be valid. But if you are not doing anything, well, nothing is going to happen to you. So no, if your residence permit expires, although your long stay visa expires, you are not going to be deported. Let's say, how do you get deported? Because as I said, there's not an alarm, and so the only way to be deported is for you to have a control from the administration, and in such a case, the police. So basically, you don't have many controls by the police. Why? Most of the time, because the police has something, they have other things to do. Controlling people about their immigration status is not really what they believe the police is for, and generally speaking, they don't, unless someone, breaks the law in another way, then they will control your immigration status. But most of the time, nothing, they don't do it, and so you will remain in the country, and unless you do something else where they may have to intervene, there's no way they're going to control your immigration status, so you will remain in the country and not be deported. Last thing regarding this deportation issue is even if they want you to leave the country, there is, of course, as I said earlier, something called the rule of law, and no one can be deported straight away. If you face a deportation order, you have the right to see the court, and that's for everyone. So even in the case where you face a deportation order, you have the time to seize the court, and the court will rule over it to say, is it legal or is it not legal? And then if it's not legal, they will of course cancel this deportation order. So the 3 misconceptions I heard the most in my job as an immigration lawyer were: first, the administration is going to retaliate against me if I go to court. I know someone who I believe is in the same situation as I am, and my residence permit as expires, I am going to be deported. So these 3 misconceptions, of course, are not true. You should be careful when you hear people say this, because, well, when you know about it, as I do, it's not how it works here in France when you want to immigrate and work here. If of course you seek any kind of advice and you don't want just to be in a situation where you may be deported, or rather you would like to your application process to speed up, well, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can take an appointment through our website. So this was my first video regarding these 3 misconceptions. Feel free, of course, to comment or to reach out to us, and I appreciate that you listen and watch this video, and I hope that it gives you some advice regarding your immigration project here in France.